Question: where does government get the authority to infinitely raise taxes and expand their own authority in apparent violation of constitutional limitations? We have a right to own property, yet property is taxed. We have a right to travel, but they tell us we must be licensed to drive our cars whether or not we have caused any damage by driving a car. There's obviously some kind of major disconnect between the rights and freedoms that are legally provided to us in the Constitution and the controls and costs that government arbitrarily imposes upon us. The Constitution is violated every day by the wording in many statutes and codes and by the actions of the state. And the state is no longer concerned with correcting these problems or even admitting that they exist. You may have noticed that what calls itself government is always asking for your signature on licenses, permits, applications, tax forms, and such. If it is our legitimate government, why does it need our signature on anything? If it were acting on constitutional authority, could it not just identify us as citizens and tell us what we're required to do? The fact is, our Constitution does not allow government to tax us on our earnings, or infringe on our right to travel, or tax our property, or interfere in any way with any of our harmless activity. Government does not intrinsically have that authority. The only way they can penalize us for harmless behavioral violations of their codes and get us to comply with endless reams of arbitrary nonsense is if we agree to sign something giving up the rights that we have naturally and automatically under the Constitution. They must get us to agree to step outside the Constitution, where simple force and command is all they need to control us. This is not constitutional government authority at all. It is fabricated authority. All of the infringements on us of government demands, nuisance, and thievery are based on contracts that we sign, thinking we have no choice, without really knowing what those contracts are going to cost us. Your signature can never be lawfully coerced. You can never be denied any government service for refusing to sign something. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you can have the service and protection of government if you sign something. If you are a lawful citizen, then everything government is and does is owed to you. If the government makes you think that you are required to sign something, they are coercing you into contract, and that contract is corrupt and technically unenforceable due to that coercion. The same is true if the full terms of the contract are not disclosed to you, which they rarely are. This business of getting you to sign something is nothing more than a devious and deceitful scam to get you to waive your rights and become a slave in one way or another to a corporate entity posing as government. After we sign these civic contracts, government begins to treat us as though we are slaves to their every desire. And they're very careful to never tell us how they did that. Was there ever a time when you signed a government form and wished you didn't have to do it? That means you were coerced. Actually, you didn't have to sign it. You may never be required to imprint your signature without your full consent. You may never be penalized or denied any right or service that is otherwise owed to you by refusing to sign anything. Your signature represents your full voluntary agreement with the terms of the contract. When you sign something, you are regarded legally as the author of that contract. If you don't want to sign something or you don't understand it, you should never provide your signature. And you should never permit anyone to threaten you in any way for refusing to sign. It is important to remember that slavery does not always require force. Anytime you agree to become a slave, you can become a slave. The word slavery does not have to be in the contract. If you give up your property, rights, and freedoms or status, you are entering slavery in one form or another. If you sign something where you agree to comply or be controlled in any way, you are entering slavery voluntarily. And to get out, you must revoke that contract. Most civic programs nowadays depend on our ignorance of their illegitimate status as they demand slavery in one form or another. If you sign something where you agree to comply or be controlled in any way, you are entering slavery voluntarily. And to get out, you must revoke that contract.
Greetings, 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 free people. Now I share this information on behalf of my common folk, my plain people. Yeah, man. My people were the politician them would call peasants. Yeah, man. So this video is an old video. Actually, it's from 2017 with this good brother here. His platform is called Minivanjack. Yeah, man. And as you can see, this brother here is not like us or our people. This brother here is what you would call, a foreigner, Caucasian type of foreigner, so-called. And then you listen to the information where I bring, and you listen to the spirit where I move with. You understand? So this is why I don't use a big white paintbrush and just paint out everybody and say them is this or that. According to the spirit where I animate you, you know what I mean? According to your actions, not just words where you speak. You know what I mean? According to the work where you put in, where you provide, not just the words. So we have to salute this platform and salute this good brother here. And I man naturally have to share this because now my people is on a level where I think them kind of ready for this kind of narrative. And even though it's a 2017 set of information, it is still relevant at this very moment. Even more so relevant. And you will hear this brother say it's all contract. And what you have to do? You have to revoke those contracts. You understand? And this is why we talk about a superior court of record document that I personally place on the public record, giving these corporate entities notice. And within that document, you have all different kind of information there. Yeah, man. From private to public, So them corporate notifications so them know what status and what standing. Because if you not declare it, they won't know it. And when you place your document out there, it take a year usually and a day for it to, perfect itself and become law when there is no, formal rebuttal. So it's a gratitude for this good brethren, because them kind of information, kind of get swept away with all of the new mess that is coming forward. So we have to kind of, refresh the information, bring back some of these long time information, we bring clarity, where just basic, simple, practical. Not too much of this craziness. Not too much of this, I want to go inside their courthouse and I want to do all kind of mess. No. It's like, watch ya. You're a free man. I'm going to know who you is. But whatever you is, what you are dealing with now have nothing to do with I as a free man. And them kind of way, yeah. Your structure and stand up as such. Not this, I want to lay down and roll over and, have you rape me, in a decent way, and I say, hey, it's okay. Not that. So this is the kind of information that we bring forward, we bring paradigm shift to our common people, the private associated people that probably have this information a long time. They won't reveal it. They'll keep it private. So this is how we bring information where everybody can have access and at least get on a level playing field. So I would say gratitude to this platform and fair use. True, we not monetize, we not worry about no strike when nobody want to bring. We just bring the information, catalog it.
Most civic programs nowadays depend on our ignorance of their illegitimate status as they demand that we sign up for their artificial force command and control. The proof of the illegitimacy of what calls itself government is that they need to acquire our signature on various instruments before they have any right to act against us in any.
When them say acquire your signature, that's you giving them permission to abuse you. That's you giving them consent to do whatever it is they want. That's you agreeing for them to do whatever it is. Unless you know how to contract, and you can always renegotiate the terms of whatever contract being presented. Only you can do that. And this is why I tell people, say, if there's a system in place where me find it is oppressive and I bring problem to me as I had before, then me have to remove myself from that thing, giving it no authority, no jurisdictional control, nothing at all over I as a free man. You know what I mean? And that's where I make my stand, and then we move from there. Anything else outside of setting yourself free is what the old-time people would call ludicrous. You understand? It don't make no sense. All you gotta try to do is be a proper slave, but you're still a slave. So it is very important for you to become a non-slave. Yeah, man. Become a non-slave first, and then you become creative. You start do all of the things that you need to do lawfully and correctly. And nothing really hard. It's just like step by step. Yeah, man. It is a process. Rearrange all what has been done for generations. And only you can do that. And it takes a little bit of knowledge. And it's easy to get carried away thinking you're free or you're outside their thing when you really are structured comfortably within that foreign system. So again, we have to say gratitude for this platform. Gratitude. I'll take it forward.
During slavery voluntarily. And to get out, you must revoke that contract. Most slavery does not have to be in the contract. If you give up your property, rights, and freedoms or status, you are entering slavery in one form or another. If you sign something where you agree to comply or be controlled in any way, you are entering slavery voluntarily. And to get out, you must revoke that contract. Most civic programs nowadays depend on our ignorance of their illegitimate status as they demand that we sign up for their artificial force command and control. The proof of the illegitimacy of what calls itself government is that they need to acquire our signature on various instruments before they have any right to act against us in any way. We have to invite them to put us into their slavery. Our signature is our invitation. Constitutionally, we are all free sovereigns who may not be diverted in any way from our harmless travels, business, and pursuit of happiness. Obviously, the Constitution is no longer being observed by the people who swear to uphold it. They inflict mandatory taxes and compliance on us as if it were the natural way of things, as if we were slaves and they were masters. If we want to be free again, we must learn to not sign contracts with civic agencies, and we must revoke the contracts we already have signed. If you must sign it, it's not a constitutional or legitimate government function. It is a corporate contract luring you into servitude and contribution to the state, as if the state can simply reach out and take from you whatever of yours it decides it needs. Our government was designed and created to be a harmless and incidental maintainer of civic infrastructure and a defender of our borders from attackers. Our government has reinvented itself as a tyrannical meddler and thief, touching absolutely every tiny corner of our lives with damage and nuisance that is strictly prohibited in our supreme law, the Constitution. Every one of us has signed something enabling them to do that. Men and women are not automatically subject to the made-up quasi-governmental corporate jurisdictions that suffocate us today. To become obligated or controlled, we must first enter those jurisdictions by signing contracts, such as driver's licenses, tax forms, business licenses, marriage licenses, various permits, certifications, applications, many other contractual instruments, which civic agencies must have in their files before they can arbitrarily act against you, as they constantly now do. Of course, when we sign those instruments, we're generally not told of all the obligations presumed against us under those contracts, and all the rights we are presumed to forfeit when we sign those contracts with the corporate entities who are posing as governments. Again, when the government is conducting legitimate activity, your signature is not required. The single piece of evidence the government is trying to expand its authorities and privileges is when they are asking you for your signature. Because of the lack of disclosure of the presumed terms of those contracts, there is question whether they're valid at all. If any deception or coercion is committed in the securement of a contract, that contract is not valid or legally enforceable. Yet enforce it they do, because after all, you signed something and therefore you must agree. If you sign a form to get a driver's license, you are promising to obey all the vehicle codes. But what happens when they change those codes? You've not agreed to the changes. Government no longer has your willing consent to compliance. So what do? They tell you that you must renew your license or registration periodically. That's proof of what I'm saying. There's certainly no need for renewal of legitimate government authority. By applying for or renewing a driver's license, you are declaring that you need one. You are declaring yourself to be subject to whatever terms may have been invented by the DMV corporate subculture. Having a driver's license does not mean you are a safe and qualified driver. It means you have declared yourself to be subject to DMV rules and corporate authority posing as government. It means that you agree to pay fees, fines, and charges when the DMV or the courts want you to pay. You agree to walk into a jail cell when they want you to do that. The Constitution does not allow government to charge you for traveling. You must sign away that right to be subject to those charges. The license applications and renewals are your personal declaration that you need to be licensed to drive. Your agreement that you must have a special piece of identification in your pocket or purse. It is your signature, not the Constitution, that declares you are willing to be a servant to those who want to seize your right to travel. You may believe that licensing every single driver in society makes the roads safer. That's debatable. But even if it is true, there are many ways to make roads safer without taxing and controlling every single driver, the good ones along with the bad. It's the bad drivers that we should be concerned with, not taking away the rights and taxing all the drivers when it violates their right to travel. Most agencies representing themselves as government can strangely be found in the private corporation listings on Dun & Bradstreet, and they are not acting in the public interest at all. They are private, for-profit corporations, and they are not constitutionally authorized governments or government agencies. They are treasonous imposters claiming rights against your earnings, savings, property, and freedom. That corporate imposter government includes our court system, our federal agencies, state and local governments, even law enforcement agencies and officers. Wherever you find unconstitutional enforcements, those are not legitimate governments or authorized civic agencies. Our constitutional government has been gradually, silently, and fraudulently replaced by a corporate matrix of predatory, for-profit institutions which prey on the public for profit and power, and which claim unlimited authority without explaining where that authority possibly could have come from. The website internallydisplacedpeople.org is a public service to help people remove themselves from the questionable jurisdictions and obligations that they did not intend to enter, and often were not even told they were entering, and had no legal obligation to enter, since most of those contracts are licensing activities that you and I have a right to do anyway, such as travel on the roads that we paid for and own property that we paid for. As we have seen by the ill-conceived and failed endless drug war, which has imprisoned millions of people who had no victim, and by official highway piracy under the euphemism of civil asset forfeiture, which steals billions of dollars a year from people who are charged with no crime and who receive no due process. Not to mention thousands of police shootings where officers have faced no prosecution, much less any serious investigation. More and more of us are being subject to these gross injustices by this system and by some ignorant police who feel entitled to threaten and commit violence and force against us as they accomplish nothing but profiteering for their employers. Internally displacedpeople.org was created to help all people who would like to find resources and solutions to help enable them to avoid and revoke the fraudulent civic contracts they have been convinced to sign, and to join the rapidly growing community of people who are discovering and applying our legal remedies and holding officials accountable for their violations and atrocities against us, and who have conveniently forgotten their oaths of office to uphold the Constitution. That website explains how they help recover and protect our rights, freedoms, and our assets by positioning us outside the fictional corporate jurisdictions that are used to control us, to seize our assets and wealth, and even imprison us for harmless behavior. To do that, as the website explains, we must take some steps to revoke the fraudulent civic contracts that we have been told we must sign. This website is a vital civic resource for people to understand the law and reach their full potential as civic participants and as free men and women, while maintaining a social order determined by us, not by money-hungry corporate tyrants, and not by a vast army of badly corrupted and misinformed law enforcement officers. Without question, we face a battle. Our corrupt officials and highly paid bureaucrats will certainly oppose constitutional restoration. Whether a person makes a living honestly or not, they always want to go on making a living. That is why we who love freedom and justice must rely on each other to find a way forward. The following short video segments are introductions by Jackie Fig to some of the decontracting issues and solutions that are addressed at their website, internallydisplacedpeople.org. I highly recommend you visit the website and look into the solutions and networking opportunities that you will find there.
So the idea of the internally displaced people.org website is to provide people a space where they can learn how to cancel contracts that they have with the state. You can go to the internally displaced people.org, where you will find the navigation bar on the left, and you'll be able to click on the navigation bar and go to a page that will help you with cancel a particular contract. If you provide services that you think will be helpful for people who are looking to get out of the system, then please contact us at info@internallydisplacedpeople.org, and we would like to place a link of the services that you provide on our website to help people unplug from the system. Canceling voter registration is an important element of getting out of the system. If you think that you may be registered to vote somewhere, you can generally go onto the Secretary of State's website and you can.
People, it's another when me attack, sir. But more time when foreign people bring certain information, our little common people pay more attention. You understand? And I don't want my people get carried away like once upon a time. What am I say? Boy, white people are bring the information, so we don't want it. No, you have to say what kind of white people, what kind of spirit them white people you have. Just like how I want to say, what kind of black people them there, or what kind of spirit them black people they move with. Because I wouldn't leave my land right here and go nowhere around Rwanda with all of the craziness and the genocidal activities when I see those people perpetuate against each other over there. I would have Listen, all that guy there from Rwanda will come here and I come yip ya. We don't want them people about ya. We don't acknowledge them genocidal creature there about ya. So now come with a dark skin and I talk about ya us or like us. I mean Jack. No found no rinse out. So now have skin tone. But inside wanna carry a different spirit. So we no bother watch the images. That's why we burn image. We say what am I deal with? And we look at what people are deal with, and if truth is there, we work with it. And when the truth change, we move away from it. And we keep it simple. So this is just knowledge. This is what Iman do. Iman shine light and information where we bring solution. Not this game where some people are tell us come join up here, come join up there, and come join up. And when you look, they're nowhere. Still enslaved. Because whoever lead you is a slave. How can a slave lead you anywhere for you for the free when them is a slave, my people? How? How? This is why I have to put a break on what I'm doing and say, no, we're not going to create nothing for people that's running. I'm going to demonstrate and say, watch you now, free yourself. It's like me and a brethren a reason earlier. And man, I talk about all different things what I want to do. So all me have to point out to the brethren is this. Me I say, brethren, if you're a slave and you do all of that, what it mean? Are you still not a slave? And if from you living till now, you get me? And all the way you think you know, and it not manifest nothing where you can say, yeah man, me outside of them thing. I'm literally, yeah man, I'm outside of their thing. If you can't say that or demonstrate that, then we have to just learn. We have to just learn. And this is why I take pleasure in bringing or sharing this particular information from minivanjack platform. Yeah, man. Because there's a lot of things that I'm naturally done. Them I got demonstrate here. Like canceling the voter registration. Around here, so the voter electoral registration where them give we around here, so. All of these things I want to share with people, and I go and tell you the truth. I don't see nobody where really, I hear from I and I hear them not do these things. The people is afraid. And when them is afraid, then they want a miracle. When I'm saying you are that miracle. Attaining just a little bit of basic knowledge aid you in working miracles for yourself. This is how you free you. You can't go in a group of slaves and do all kind of mess as slaves. And one man do some all kind of craziness and only one man comprehend all of the craziness what's going on. And you there in the group and you spend all kind of money, but the man we are teaching or demonstrates them free. You get me? The bag of paperwork and information you do not comprehend none of it, much less to understand. You understand? You just out there like you have some paperwork and you just no man, watch you, declare yourself free anywhere you're there. And look at your attachment and start unattach yourself. And structure in such a way where you function with your own legal entity where you control. Any all capital name what them have for you, it's called a DBA. You don't necessarily go create no more DBA. It's yours. It's yours. All right, yours. The government not own nothing at all. Unless you are tell them say them own it. So when some man make government write on paper about government own all property and all, that a phone of government but UNO is a part of. That's when you register on a property with this thing and I give them that kind of authority by your own consent. You volunteer to do that. You create your organization and you register it and then you brag and say, oh, what you really think you do? What you really think you do when you register anything with a secular? entity, corporate entity to be specific. Where you think you really are? You give them, you just say a third party interest in anything and everything where you do. Basically, and that is just from my perspective. Why? Because you don't need for register to no foreign nothing for manifest yourself because you're already here as man. You can't read and write. You talk to somebody who can read and write for you. And when them present the document, you get all the next third party where you where the man will write the document for you, don't know and have him reread it to you. And make sure where you want that document. And then you put your autograph with your house seal on that document and your thumbprint on that document as free man, and place that mess on the public record and get your certified copy and you're good to go. Them kind of information, yeah, the free man style. Now this book, this mess where, you know, the very same corporation are sliding down all kind of rabbit hole. We don't have no interest in that. When we say we're free, we mean just that. Around Yassa we're there, you know. Around Yassa we're there. We're not around there, so we're there home. The boy can't give a talk and say we are evict you, we are deport you, we are extradite you. We're outside of all of those things. You can't chat away at them energy that may bring forward. Not this. My organization, I'm more UN. UN can't chat to me. You understand? I have to acknowledge and recognize them kind of corporate entity there. And all of them is listed on Duns and Bradstreet. And I think they are joking. I don't know how to do the research and look. And I think it's just joke talk. Oh, a fantasy. Nestorian, that man, they are madman. That's what the intellectuals will say. Why? Because it's not fit enough for them script. This kind of information not fit enough for them script because them is of the devil world. They were taught by the devil system. You understand? So when them see truth, them cannot recognize it. How can they identify it? Them have to dismiss it. However, the truth remains the truth and will always remain so. Whether you guys intellectually, scholarly, like it or not, we are at a point now where we now take your word for it. Professor James Small, all them guided. We remember them guided from a few years ago when them try shut down conjure information when they bring forward. So we not salute them Pan-African joker there. Not sure we have some professor in front of them. We're not impressed with. We know the background and know not good. We're not just imagery. We know the type of imagery what Babylon used to maintain them colonial slavery. We're not impressed with. And this will come from this Nestorian king. Yeah, man, at them truth I man deal with. Simple and practical. You understand? Not this, you know, mess. When I see a lot of people are getting involved in out there when now bring no solution. Period. It's just a waiting game. Trickery. Fraud. But watch, you know, on my place. All me had was shine light. So, you know, take it or leave it, my people. Take it or leave it.
Check to see if you are registered to vote. If you are, you will need to cancel that voter registration. There will be some letters and communications that you can use on the internallydisplacedpeople.org website that will help you unplug from the system.
Salute.
I know for some people that's going to be a difficult and different concept. You think that your vote actually counts, but what you're actually doing is giving your power to Washington, D.C., and those people do not do anything for any of us. Since when did your vote ever count? Employment and business professionals have a whole different set of problems. There are two elements that we need to look at, and one is the business district, which is zoned a zoned area for businesses and is considered territory that's been ceded to the United States of America and operating under the Commerce Clause. The other element is licensing and registration. If you look at the top of your certification, it will say state of whatever, and you'll see that that's the way they claim their territory. On internallydisplacedpeople.org website, we will be researching and looking at various elements to help you step out of that side of the system by providing information on forming associations, trusts, and other business entities that you can use and remove yourself from that side of the system. If you are someone that provides services that would help people to exit out of the business and employment section, then please contact us at info@internallydisplacedpeople.org and let us know what services you provide, and we will.
Now, a platform like them Ian platform that would be ideal would provide these services. And I'm quite sure in Satpak, when explained, you're gonna find some boy, it's like a little trust, but true it is a trust, you really can't talk about it and all of these things. You understand? So we have to say gratitude. That's why I always highlight the Ian platform, because them man that come with certain things where really aid you. You know what I mean? And I want just have to remove, you know, you have to say the shenanigans then. You know what I mean? Everybody have their own style. So when you're patient enough to get over some of the antics, then, you know, you might get some information, but you now get all information. So this is why people, you know, especially a man like me, they're all over the place. I'm going to limit myself to only one man. Period. I can't do that because I never start out that way. I tell people, say the whole white nationalists, them, or some of them old Freemasons and them family members, are them ones that used to bring information where I could really, you know, learn from. Them ones that some people were there over Europe where they're under this system. You get me? And when them run away and come around here and see it come at them have to fight against it. Them ones that we can learn a lot from. There was a time when my people now look on these information. I am one of those ones that's instrumental in telling my people, said, watch me, and then more information is all right. Them trick you with that mess. There was a time when you want certain information, you have to literally become a Muslim, an Islamic, some kind of more, so you can learn some information. You understand? And all them always are trying to take the original people from here to somewhere else. And this is where the mixing come in and the spoiling and the confusion. So I don't use a paintbrush and talk about, hey, a black against white. Foolishness that. Foolishness. That too is distraction. Look at them spirit. What them I say. What them I deal with. You get me? The information, what them I bring, is it one-sided, where it only for benefit their people? I don't think so. You understand? Yet most of my people will dismiss this and say, yeah, a white people think this and a white people are bring it. Me say, watch, you have to just, you know, gather your information, remove your contradiction from your information, and move with the knowledge where you get, or you move with the comprehension where you have, you move with the wisdom or the wiseness where you get from our life. You know, for being a rocket scientist, and you never have to go into the foreign institution to learn this. You will never learn none of this inside here. They'll teach you to do all different kind of things except freeing yourself are teaching you how to function freely. Most people want them information here freely. Most people want, me have to tell a brethren, say, listen, I reason when brethren today, and I say, my king, watch this now. When you know me right now, one thing, you have to know, say, boy, I did have to go back to the 5th grade level. I did have to go learn the English language and the different parts of speech and all of these things. What is an adjective, what is a noun, how to create and construct sentence and all of these things. I have to go back and learn. And that's when me used to write, me run through pen like me run through all a pen in a day, 2-3 day pen done. I take notes and write notes and all kind of things. And for what me grasp, me I say, watch out. With all of what I say everybody I do, I'm familiar with. Me not have no interest in participating like that. Me have to do something outside of all of that. Different. Because me no want to be no corporate slave or no kind of slave. Me not have no interest in the foreign construct. If me to deal with the foreign construct, me I deal with it accordingly, separate and distinct from the legal entity that is operating within that thing. And this is when you hear them say we create with trust and we do certain things. You get me? You structure your estate and know so this is your estate and your estate have its funds right there and you're the executor for your estate. And that are in private. The trust fund where them are regulate from your estate is in a public. And the public trustees them is there for just that. Them are public trustees. But them want to double dip and benefit at your expense because of the knowledge where you want to gain, where you're not going to get in none of these schools. Even when you're on the island. None of these schools. None. Not even the University of our West Indies. You not learn what them things we are share. You cannot. It's impossible. Them things we are talking about. This is why I'm saying, this is what we bring. This is how unique I am here on this island. Because Muta Baruka have to come in my class and I learn this too. When I hear the entertainer, them are rare. Them have to come in a class, come learn this. You understand? Yeah, man. The university with judicial system, them have to pay attention here, irrespective of how it might seem. Them have to pay attention. Yeah, man, I feel them best interest for them pay attention to what me I do. Because what me do within them judicial system has never been done before. And them know I have a kind of information where I can really, do a whole lot of things to for them judicial system. Them is aware of that. Because only free man can function on that level. And remember, I'm not institutionalized. I'm not going to them schools, so I'm going to get that spoilness. There's no limitation to the capacity of my thinking ability. It's free. It's free. So this is why we are here, to shine light on information what people choose to ignore and what others naturally will miss without the direction, without the guidance, without this Nestorian king bringing it forward by way of shining light on the information. Free will, people, take it or leave it.
We'll be happy to put a link up on the website so that people can locate you and get the help that they need. If you're old enough to be going to college and signing the contract for college, you can opt out of being a resident and choose non-resident tuition. It is more expensive, but you have to kind of weigh up the pros and cons of whether you want to be in the system or outside the system. Another thing that you can do is you can sit in and audit the class. In other words, you can attend classes, get the books, take the tests, and pretty much participate. But at the end of the day, you won't get the degree. There's a few other things that you can do. You can not give your social security number, and that's a very small difference that you can do. It doesn't quite get you out, but it does make a difference. And at internally displaced people.org website, we can help you work through the steps to ultimately get out of the system through the education system. If you have children in secondary or elementary education, then that brings you into residency. This is kind of a difficult layer to combat, but at the internally displaced people.org, we hope to facilitate and bring people together, forming associations, education associations, and perhaps online schooling and other methods, homeschooling, to help you bring your children out of the system and keep you out of the residency element. Filing property tax exemptions is another scam. They take the overall value of your property, they reduce it by some 7,000, and then they assess your taxes. So there's very little benefit and you lose status. At internally displaced people.org, we would like to help people move out of that whole taxation system. So if you're out there and you have done land patents, if you've gotten people off of the ad valorem tax rolls, then please contact us. Please put links on our site, as we would like to provide your services to people who come onto the internally displaced people.
All right, all thing like that now. We have a lot of brothers that have accomplished this, have the knowledge on this, but again, those people keep these things private. It's only to benefit themselves, and we're not going to knock these things because people apply themselves and study, because there is information when we still not just Lego like that. What we do is shine light so people can have the basic knowledge, and then them can choose to go further. Then them can choose to say, yo, where you deal with, what is that? And you understand? It's on you now. People want too much sit in them house and comfortably, and you do all the work, and they can bring and do everything for them for free. You see, if it's not about being free, me not direct people go nowhere, go join up with nobody if they're not talk about being free, and I demonstrate so them free. Outside of that, we're not in the fanciness. We're not in the craziness. You understand? And this is how a lot of people get in trouble, lock up on their prison because of some, people where I teach them a whole heap of mess. One thing me have to say are the things them want me do, me talk about. And my advocacy is about being free. It's not about assimilating with them foreign people. You understand? Anything where a foreign guy do out there, I can do it. If you create any kind of trust, we can create any kind of trust. If you fix any kind of thing, we can fix any kind of thing. We represent the land. Our birth certificate represent that. That approves the boy with the right here. That's proof. And when them hypothecate it, it's supposed to benefit us. This is why them are asked for signature, because everything is already prepaid. But if you volunteer for do all these things, then by your natural contract where you choose for the voluntarily, you are choose. But again, hear them say, anything where you're going on, you can revoke. You can revoke any and all contractual arrangement or agreement. Anything. This is why in my Superior Court of Record document, it says forgiveness of all known and unknown debt. And them things we are deal with structure outside, separate and apart, however you exist harmoniously. Now, if you've been a rocket scientist for do them thing, man. This are the concept: free people, free society, free being, but the people them have to choose. You're not gonna get here being a slave, and y'all are afraid to step away from your slavery. You're terrified. You understand? However, I know it's a free will. You cannot drag anybody. People have to just choose to arm themselves with some knowledge and step. Free will.
Or possession of a driver's license has your residence address on it. In the application, you agreed that you was a resident. In fact, you signed up on the penalties of perjury that you was a resident, and this most definitely puts you into the residency layer. Registration of vehicles also puts you into that layer, and on it,
registration of anything and everything put you into that layer. Yeah, man. So, the item of it truly, ascertain some knowledge, man. You get me? I see my people here on the island, I get there, but for some reason, I don't know if I'm on too harsh for even my very people here. Me more than available. And you see, when the ones that come link me, is when me I go get busy, is when me not go have no time. I'm gonna make it clear, even to them, I tell a brethren, I say about 3 or 4 years now, I'm gonna tell you the very same thing when me I tell you, me is a man like I repeat myself. That's why I'm not say me is a man behave away. Because if me I tell you what you come to me, I'm gonna tell you one thing, I just that me I deal with and that me tell you. But you have some guys who think them bright or whatever it is, them want to do all kind of thing and incorporate what you are dealing and try mix you with for them little secular mess. I don't have time for that. You understand? So we just show information for people can go in some places and learn how to do some things. And I am here where a man can link and say X, Y, Z. This is why I keep my thing more upon the local level. Our international people and is up there. And them always have access and can reach out. It's what local people are said, Chuck, them think they are foreign thing. Them know say it's your thing. It's our thing. It concern all the way. The foreign people are presume all the way to the slave. All the way to the slave. Until you rebut their presumption. You have to rebut their presumption. And how you rebut their presumption? I'm telling you all of them things they already know. That's why I have a world passport. You get me? That's why I have a world birth certificate. Yeah, man. That's why I not necessarily need a driver's license because I'm not doing no business out there. Anytime I plan to do some business, like I love drive truck, but not on them little road here. Them road are not there for drive truck. Madman road, them thing. That's why I say Jamaica have the best truck driver, the best driver them. I just know where you see some young youth that drive, because them go a party and them in the fast car, Mark X, and them just press gas. Them a drink and them a pop them molly and them a press gas and them a crash. This is why I not even like go out the road. Yeah, man. I rather dep on the road when the slave them come off the road. Yeah. Sunday are the best time for ride out there. A Sunday evening when you look is less traffic. Less traffic. And you get out there and you get back in and you give thanks. But yeah, man, I just information people. Because number one, when you talk about being free, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And one of the very first things you have to have knowledge. You're not going to buy one world passport or you go join one group around your son and brag say you're free. If you not have that in you naturally, then not care what you do, you're going to always be that slave. Because your freedom start within you. It not start outside of you. This is why you have man where them even lock up. A man say, yeah, me good, me a hold it. All when them lock me up, because them find a place where them free, irrespective of what kind of physical enslavement there is. And it's no different with a man like I. All when me there yassa and a man say, then how you there yassa and you're supposed to free. Then what that mean? You understand? Oh, you there yassa and you supposed to be enslaved. You understand? It starts with the mental, man. You free your mind first. And when your mind free, then nobody else can tell you nothing. No man can't tell you nothing. No care where a man do, you got to rebut a man presumption because you free. Now you got source information for help you demonstrate that. And that's when you go look out there and you gather information, remove contradiction, and you take time, build and learn, and you know, it take you a few years and then you start do certain things. Yeah, man, not you just learn something this week and next week you want to do all kind of thing. It don't work that way. No work that way, people. It's a step-by-step process. Yeah, man.
Internally displaced people.org, we have a page where we can help you to opt out of both registration and driver's licenses.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Gratitude, people. Gratitude.